So if you're like me and you want to explore the south rim of the Grand Canyon in a way other than walking or a motor vehicle, you might have found yourself considering a bicycle option. Now, everyone knows, and it's pretty obvious, that you can take bicycles or rent bicycles there on the south rim, but there's not a whole lot of good information in terms of what do you do with the bikes, where can you ride them, how does the rental plan work. And when we got to the Grand Canyon, I obviously chose to rent bikes, but I didn't have a lot of information. So this video should help other people who are interested in renting bikes but may not have found all the information that they need. Now, there are a couple reasons why renting bikes might be a good idea for you. Number one is because Herman's Road, the red route that goes west on the South Rim, is only accessible by shuttle bus in terms of vehicles. You cannot take a personal vehicle on the red route. Unlike going east towards the watchtower, where there are no shuttles and you have to drive or walk, the red is the opposite. It's only shuttles, walking, or biking. Those are the only options you have. And it's worth mentioning it is a very long walk. Beautiful, but long. And I'll be honest, I hate shuttle buses. It's a nice service and it's free and it's definitely better than nothing if that's what you like to do. But I, for one, I don't love being crammed into a shuttle bus, being reliant on a shuttle bus to get me from point A to point B. And with the recent pandemic flare-ups, there are some mask mandate stuff being implemented, and I would just rather stay away from all that. So for us, the bikes were an easy decision. Second reason you might consider the bikes is that it's actually a lot of fun. My family and I don't get a chance to ride bikes together very often, and I'll be honest, this Herman's Road Red Trail bike rental trip was probably my highlight of the Grand Canyon. It was actually really cool. Okay, so you've officially decided to rent bikes. You think it's a good fit for you and your family. Now what do? Well, you Google Grand Canyon South Rim bike rentals, right? And you will probably find the Bright Angel bike shop. Bright Angel bike shop is pretty popular. It's large. It's got good equipment, and I think there's one or two other places that you can rent from, but Bright Angel seems to be the most recommended company to get your bikes. Now, don't make the same mistake that we made and assume that the Bright Angel bike shop, I don't know why I'm doing air quotes, don't assume that the bike shop is near the Bright Angel Lodge or the Bright Angel Trail, because it's not. Bright Angel Bike Shop is actually 2 miles to the west, real close to the visitor center. In fact, it's in that same little complex. So if you need to find it, you can Google it, but it's near the visitor center out on the east side, and that's where the Bright Angel Bike Shop is. Now, once you get to the bike shop, you have a couple more decisions to make. Firstly, and importantly, you need to decide, are you going to take the e-bike or are you going to get a normal manual pedal bicycle? My family went with the manual. I didn't really give it a whole lot of thought. I didn't think we needed the e-bike, but if you have reservations about your stamina or endurance or your legs holding up, the e-bike might be a good fit for you. Those are an option. They are a little bit more expensive. I didn't price those, so just call ahead. I know that there are less of them as well, so that will be subject to availability. We were able to go in and get our regular bikes with zero reservation. We just showed up, picked out some bikes, and off we went. Now, the second decision you have to make is, are you going to take the shuttle package or the shuttle tour? There go the air quotes again. Or are you going to just do the normal ride? Now, the shuttle tour is basically you pay a little bit extra. It's like $40-something per person, but it's only a 2-hour rental, so it's less time. It's more expensive, but what the company does, the bike shop, they will put the bikes on a trailer and they will cart you the first few miles up the hill and to Hopi Point, which is the starting point for the shuttle service. And basically Hopi Point is also kind of where it becomes flat. So the trail, when you leave the bike shop, it kind of goes down and then it gets real steep and then it gets to Hopi Point, and then it's just kind of flat all the way to the end. So you pay a little bit more for the convenience, but you get less time on the bikes, and to me, that's kind of what you're paying for. So we didn't do the shuttle route, and even if we wanted to, we didn't get there in time. So they offer that twice a day, once at 8 a.m. and once at 1 p.m. And you probably want to make that reservation in advance, because I assume that that's going to be subject to availability as well, the seats on the van or on the shuttle bus. Now, if you don't go that route, then the other option is obviously you just ride your bike from the Bright Angel Bike Rental Shop all the way to the end of Hermit's Road, which is Hermit's Rest. So the non-shuttle package, and there's different packages. You can do a full day, half day, 1 hour. They recommend you do the half day for the full red route. And obviously, if you just want to bike for an hour, you can get a bike and just tool around the parking lot. But we really wanted to get out to the red trail without getting on a shuttle bus, and we didn't have enough time to walk. So the half-day package is what they recommend, and that's for 5 hours. It's $23 for kids. It's $33 for adults. For my family of 4, it's about $150 after tax, which isn't unreasonable. So once you leave Bright Angel Lodge on your bicycle, assuming you don't take the shuttle, you've got to go about 2 miles from the west back to the Bright Angel Trailhead, which is where the red route, the Herman's Road route bus stop starts. That's where they'll pick you up and take you to the end. This is also the last place to fill up on water until you get to the end. And it's a long route. I mean, I think it's 8 miles, the red road, there and back, not including the 2 miles from the bike shop to that point. It's a total of 10 miles each way, 20 miles round trip. 5 hours is plenty of time. But after that first 2 mile section, when you get to the actual bus exclusion zone, you have to fill up on water there if you're going to need more. Also, there's restrooms there. It's probably a good idea to stop there. And there are, I think, 2 other restrooms on the route. But, just keep that in mind if you've got to go. So I mentioned the hill. The hill is also at that point where those buses start to pick people up. It's a pretty significant incline. I think they say it's a 6% grade, and that doesn't mean much to most people, but you can Google that, and you can gauge whether or not you feel like you're fit enough to do that. Now, remember, if it becomes too strenuous, you can always hop off the bike and walk. You can hop off the bike and rest. Because it is a private road only open to buses, there's not a lot of traffic, and the bus drivers are extremely conscientious to the bike riders. At one point during that first climb up to get to the flat part, my 10-year-old did get tired. He got off, and we rested, and we walked the bike a little bit. And it was no big deal. So that's an option. Don't feel like you've got to be able to pedal through the whole thing or nothing. It's not bad. Now, regardless of whether you take the shuttle service, e-bike, manual bike, long route, there are bike cutoffs, or there are trails that are meant for walkers that the bikes can go onto. So you can leave the road at some points and kind of navigate through the trees, and that's actually really fun. I enjoyed that a lot, and so did the kids. And regardless of what route or method you take, you will come to Hermit's Rest at the very end. Water, fill-up stations, there's restrooms, and there's also a little, I don't know if cafe is the right word, a little place to get food and drinks. They've got ice cream, snacks, coffee. They've got a chicken Caesar wrap that was surprisingly good. I don't even like wraps, and I finished my son's, and I was impressed by the chicken Caesar wrap, so I recommend that if you're going to go. And then once you're done, you just go back the way you came. The ride back is a little bit easier. It's more downhill, especially when you get to the steep slope. But for the most part, it's not bad. There are going to be some ups and some downs, but children taking their time can easily accomplish it. If you're on the shuttle, you'll ride back to Hopi Point, get on the van with the trailer, load your bikes up, and go back to the rental. Keep in mind that's only a 2-hour deal for a little bit more money. If you did the 5-hour half-day non-shuttle service, then you'll ride all the way back to the bike shop. And that 2 miles outside of the red trail that kind of goes through, the park area is actually really pretty. Lots of pretty trees and wildlife. We saw elk, and It was actually a lot of fun. Overall, I would highly recommend the bike ride to anybody that thinks that they're physically capable of riding a bike and really just wants a different way to kind of experience the Grand Canyon Trail, because we rode the bus for some, we walked some, we drove the truck some, and the bike ride was by far my favorite. So let me know if you have any questions. Take care, travel smart.